Today on TFL Off-road, we have news from Kawasaki about 2 new jet skis in their 160 lineup.
Yeah, they made some big changes, and they're bringing some features down from their flagship models to some of the lower cost models.
Yeah, so this is a familiar powertrain from the STX 160. It is that same dual overhead cam 1,498cc 4-cylinder engine. However, this Ultra 160LX and 160LXS have a lot more tech and a lot more features than the STX 160, and that's also reflected in the price. So like you said, they brought down some features from the Ultra 310, and yeah, it's definitely reflected in the price difference, which we'll talk about at the end.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a middle model, right? It takes the engine out of kind of the lower cost one that doesn't get a lot of features, brings that engine up, but then brings down a lot of the features from the higher end model, the more premium features, so like the tech and everything.
You don't have the crazy horsepower of the supercharged 310. You're still sitting at about 160 horsepower from this engine. So we'll start off with the more basic model, the LXS. And some of the features that you get on that, kind of like the Ultra 310, are a 7-inch color TFT that connects to your phone. You get Kawasaki Smart Reverse with deceleration that helps you maneuvering and docking a little bit. You get Smart Steering, which helps keep engine power enough to steer under certain conditions even when you're off throttle. You also get launch control, cruise control, power modes, which can be switched from full to mid to low, and there's even an additional key that lets you engage a mode called Smart Learning Operation, and the acronym for that is SLOW, S-L-O.
Yeah, so kind of like a learner's key. Exactly. If you don't want someone to go crazy on your brand new expensive personal watercraft, you give them the slow key, and then you can sit back on the beach or by the water or whatever, have your beer and not worry too much about what's going on out on the water. Some other options, it's got a backup camera, which is pretty cool. So if you're towing, some tubers or water ski or whatever, you can be your own spotter and, keep an eye on who's behind you. There's also a one-touch 5-mile-an-hour mode for where there's speed restrictions. That way, you don't get.
If you're in a no-wake zone, you don't have to think about how much throttle you're giving it.
You just hit that button and cruise on through. And then you've got storage, 44.5 gallons of storage with a phone cubby and a USB charger, so you can keep your devices or
obviously
your GoPro charged up.
Cubby.
Exactly. Get this, a 20.6 gallon fuel tank.
Yeah, which they say is class leading, and I believe it. That's nearly as big of a fuel tank as what's in my car.
Yeah, that's a really big fuel tank. That's bigger than some cars on the road, a lot of cars.
I guess that's bigger than the fuel tank in one of my cars and smaller than the other one. It's a big fuel tank.
Yeah, that's huge. 22.5 degree hull is what you're getting on this machine here, and that pretty much sums it up for the LXS, which is kind of the lower entry. But then there's more features you get with the LX.
Yeah, and if you spec out the LX, which is the top of the line 160, then you also get the Jet Sound audio system. It's a 200-watt amp, 4 speakers. You get a 3-position adjustable luxury seat and a meter visor. So a few extra features there if you opt for the LX. And then there's a number of things that they've done to both of these models in terms of styling.
Yeah, so obviously the style is way different. You get new, taller front and rear bumpers and new LED accents. And the LED accents on this are pretty cool looking. They've got this kind of this thin, squinty look with, a geometric shape that goes through them. It looks premium. It looks like a high-end sports car or something.
Well, and you can see a lot of the styling being pulled from the top-of-the-line Ultra 310. It's got a very similar overall shape. If you didn't know that this had just come out and you saw one of these Ultra 160s on the water, you would probably think that it is the Ultra 310. Certainly, it looks a lot different from the more basic STX 160, and the styling is a lot more modern.
And yeah, I think that's important because there is a significant price difference between the STX 160 and the Ultra 160. And
yeah, you don't want people to mistake.
Yeah, it's good that you can see both of them sitting in the water and right off the bat that one of those is a more premium model. There's no guessing to it. It's pretty obvious.
People who have the Ultra 310 might be a little upset that the non-supercharged jet ski looks so much like the 310.
Till they get on the throttle. then they don't care.
Yeah, exactly. You could prove your point just by doing that.
Yeah, so some cool things there. There's also a new deck. So it's got a longer deck, and it's a longer deck than the STX. It's the same deck that they use on the Ultra 310. So you got a lot of room back there to climb around, do whatever you need to do. Also, a lower handlebar position. They say it's more comfortable now, and that the throttle lever has been revised, and it takes a lot less effort. So your hands should not be as fatigued if you're going on long rides.
Yeah, you've also got more leg room and a slimmer seat, and you've got a multi-mount system for accessories, tie downs, everything that you need. So really, they've just made a much better option for a non-supercharged jet ski in their lineup. Of course, there are still a number of other options in the lineup. They're still offering a stand-up jet ski, the SXR 160, and I mean, if you were to ask Alex and I, we're still stand-up jet ski fans, but for the sit-down jet skis, it's nice to have just this more luxurious option because a lot of people probably don't need that crazy power output of the 310.
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, I'm not a jet ski expert. I've been on, personal watercraft handful of times, and I have fun on them, but definitely, isn't my main area of focus. But I'd agree that, the stand-up ones look like a lot of fun.
Yeah, and they are, yeah.
Yeah. Also, a few months ago, went out to Lincoln, Nebraska to the Kawasaki Motors manufacturing plant and made a video there. It's on TFL Off-Road, and there's a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff there. I showed how the mule was made, how they make like wheels and stuff, but also I got some footage of them assembling these jet skis. So if you want to see kind of a behind-the-scenes look, rare opportunity to see how these things are made right here in the US, go check that video out because it's pretty cool.
It's a cool behind the curtain of what Kawasaki is doing at some of their facilities, and Kawasaki does a lot of manufacturing. We work with them a lot on the motorcycle side, but as you can see, they make obviously watercraft side-by-sides. They make a ton of things in their factory. It's
I mean, they make wheels for Honda and Yamaha and Polaris. They make train cars, airplane doors, so yeah, it's pretty endless. They even like the robotic arms that are in the factory that like put the adhesive on the outside of the hole and slam the jet ski together. Those robots are all made by Kawasaki.
Yeah. So if you want to see video of how all that works, there is that video on the Off-Road channel. And we have to talk a little bit about price. So these are more luxurious models. Like I said, it's reflected in the price compared to the more basic STX.
So what does the STX start at? It's what?
So the STX starts at $11,399. Which is not bad when you compare it to $16,299 for the LXS, and then another $1,000 for the full-on LX model in this new pair of 160s. So they're a lot more expensive than the STX, and they're also a lot more expensive than the SXR. They're almost as expensive as the starting price of the Ultra 310. So the Ultra 310 starts at $18,299. Of course, that's for the base model. If you want to get the Ultra 310 LX, you're looking at $20,299. So depending on how much you want power versus a lot of luxury features, you could get into a 310 for only $2,000 more than the base 160 LXS.
Yeah, but if you're feature driven and you're looking for those premium options, then it's a $3,000 price jump to go from, what we're looking at here to the supercharged version, which is a lot.
But even so, I mean, the power difference there, 160 versus 310, that's a big.
It is a big difference, but they're for two different people. I think it depends what you're going and doing with it.
Definitely.
If you're constantly towing people behind you and you want to have a ripping time, the supercharged one's going to serve you well. If you're going out for family cruises and stuff, you'll do just fine with the 160.
That's true. And at the end of the day, I mean, even with 160 horsepower, that's nearly as much horsepower as you get in a Miata, for example. So it's not like it's a wheelbarrow. It would be able to get up and go plenty.
Yeah, so there's pretty much everything you need to know about these new Jet Ski Ultra 160 LX and 160 LXS models. I know we used to do personal watercraft a lot when Steven was still working here. And yeah, we're trying to get back into it. So let us know kind of what you want to see, if you like this sort of thing, if you want to see some more personal watercraft reviews, if you want to see us get some time out on the water on one of these.
We would be happy to go take a trip to ride some jet skis. That sounds fantastic, especially right now because it's horrible and snowy and 20 degrees in Colorado.
Exactly. So yeah.
So maybe we'll make a trip and go for some jet ski rides.
Exactly. There you go, guys. Thanks for watching. Head on over to alltfl.com and also tflbids.com. We've got some really cool auctions up there right now. And we'll catch you in the next video.